Welcome to my channel. This is Mario Lloyd, also known as Real Estate Guru PK. On this channel, we talk about my real estate endeavors. We also have the top real estate producers and the top entrepreneurs in the country. Be sure to click the link below with Justin P with his Support Black Colleges marketing course. Also with Jason White's Crack the Code affiliate link, click that below as well. Also to support the channel, Webull, M1 Finance, Chase, Discover, Robinhood, and Public, a stock trading app. We hope you enjoyed this episode. This is Real Estate Guru PK signing out. How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode. I'm with the king of marketing. He's made his clients over $500 million. Marquell Russell. How you doing?
Hey man, appreciate you having me, bro. Appreciate you.
Where you want to start? You want to start how you came up, and then we could get to like where you at now.
We can start however you want to start.
Okay, that's cool. We'll do that.
So jump into kind of where I started this whole journey.
Yeah, like how you was, as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Dropping out, in the 9th grade.
Right.
Selling what you were selling, and
Right. So basically, quick backstory. So I basically I grew up in Atlanta, right? All over, even different parts of Georgia. But basically, I dropped out of high school in 10th grade. And how I end up doing that is where I'm from, like, the ideal job. I don't know if it's the same out here, but I know the ideal job where I'm from is like to get a job working for the city. Mm-hmm. So I ain't want to do that. Over
here would probably be like the hospital.
Okay, got it. So the hospital here. So where I'm from is like, you want to grow up and get a job working for the city. And I'm like, that never made sense to me. Because like, wasn't nobody around me rich, but everybody kind of wanted to get a job working for the city. But I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be a millionaire when I was young. I ain't know no millionaires. But I was like, this ain't working. So it's like, whatever cats are teaching us to do in this environment, it ain't working. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I ain't doing it. So I automatically rebelled from that. My cousins who was getting money, from what I saw was getting money, they were selling drugs. So I jumped out in the streets, went full throttle in the streets. But prior to that, I always kind of been entrepreneurial. So I was that young dude knocking on your door, asking, can I take out your trash? We started moving into communities with lawns. I'm knocking on your door, hey, asking, can I cut your grass? I ain't even have a lawnmower. I asked you, can I cut your grass and then use your lawnmower to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And then I got into middle school and I was known as the dude who had the weed. Mm-hmm. So it was like, if you wanted the weed, everybody knew I had the weed. And when I was in 9th, 10th grade, I went to actually high school, like in the suburb area kind of, but I was like plugged in the city, so I can go get access to stuff that people with the school I went to couldn't necessarily get access to. So that was my differentiator in the market, right? Mm. So, and it blew up. And then 10th grade, dropped out. I was driving to school the whole 9, and I just got bored with school.
Can you talk about how you got the car?
Yeah. So here's a crazy story how I got the car. So I got a car. So I got suspended for school for 10 days. Yeah. Right. You heard the story. Yeah. So I got suspended for school for 10 days. One of my homies got into a fight.
Jumped in.
Yeah. It's like it ain't no one-on-one like where I'm from. It's like if you fight one of us, it's like it's on. You gotta fight all of us. So we jumped in. We thought we got away with it. I ended up in class. They came and pulled me out. I got suspended for 10 days. And then my mom I'm thinking, it's all right, cool, 10 days. I'm just going to chill. You know what I'm saying? So my mom woke me up, was like, hey, you going to work with me. And at this time, she was doing telemarketing. And she was amazing at it. Everybody used to call it like the Michael Jordan of telemarketing. So she took me there. She made me read this book called A Time to Kill. So I had to sit in the lunch area and read this book. So I brought like 2 days, 3 days, like reading through it. Finally got through it. And I kind of went out in the cubicle area and sat at her cubicle and saw what they was doing. I'm like, dang, y'all just reading this script? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, you want to try it? And I'm like, yeah, I ain't got nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. So I read the book. I made a call because, you get a leads list. Mm-hmm. So I'm calling this leads list and reading the script.
So like her boss wasn't tripping at all? Her boss wasn't?
I mean, bro, you gotta understand, because like if you're familiar with the telemarketing world, yeah, it's like a lot of these cats ain't like the most polished cats.
They're straight out of high school sometimes.
It's cats in there who smoke crack. It's not like stone cold crackheads, but it's like cats getting their check and they going to get them a little some. They coming in there, you know what I'm saying? So it's a, and you got some who are like more cleaner, like more polished, I should say. So it's a real diverse environment. And then once they confirm everything, they hit the bell, boom, boom, boom. They be like, boom, 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 Mario, you got to sell full pay, boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? So they said, boom, boom, boom. They said, bing, 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 Marquell, such and such. I'm like, what? So it's like I had made a sale. I'm like, this crazy.
How much you made in that sale?
I don't know how much I made on that sale, but I know on that week I made $800.
Okay. So
I made $800, and mind you, I'm 16. You know what I'm saying? So it's like $800 in a week. That's some big paper. Yeah. So I ran through the whole week. So that whole week I was on it. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got me a check for $800. It was this car up the street that I had been looking at. It's a Delta 88, 1984 Delta 88. It looked like a little short dog Cadillac. You remember the short dog Cadillacs? Yeah. It looked like those, but it was a Delta 88. And my cousin, he had a bubble Chevy. You remember the bubble Chevys? Yeah. So he was already planning to be driving to school, but he had the bubble Chevy. I'm like, well, it ain't the bubble Chevy, but I'm driving. So I bought the car. It probably lasted 2 weeks, maybe, if that. But anyway, I was driving to school, use that money to go to school. But now I'm at school, and I'm smoking weed, had the week, kind of do what I want to do, got a little freedom. I can drive and leave when I want to. Probably wasn't the best ideal situation. So end up stop being at school all the time. So I just said, my mom one time was like, look, these people keep calling me. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to go. If not, don't. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of had that conversation. So I ended up not going. I bumped head one of the administrators one day, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. So I went full throttle in the streets. But
you was doing good in school. You said you was in algebra 2, right?
Yeah. So I was in 10th grade. So I was, algebra 10th grade is like algebra 2.
So you was ahead. You was ahead, right?
No. So so my birthday is actually late. So I actually was behind because my birthday late. Okay. But I guess when they went 10th grade, algebra 2 was like part of. But even to your point though, when I went to school and I was like interested, I did really good in school. You know what I'm saying? I had like, A's and B's, like middle school, elementary. I always had like needs to control talking and that type of stuff in like the conduct area. But I wasn't never like, I could do the schoolwork when I was interested. But when I wasn't interested no more, I was just like, I ain't interested no more. You know what I'm saying? So dropped out of high school, went full time in the streets, started going back and forth to jail. That kind of come with it. And then when I was 19, my son was born on my 19th birthday. Well, he wasn't born on my 19th birthday, but he was born in September 10th. I thought I was actually going to get out before he was born, but I wasn't. I didn't. And then after he was born, I'm like, all right, cool. The first time I met him was in visitation. And then fast forward, my birthday was coming up. So I'm like, I'm definitely going to be out here for my birthday. Didn't get out for my birthday. So I turned 19 in jail. But when I'm in there with all these older cats. I'm like one of the youngest ones in there. And I'm like, man, this cat's in there like 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. And I'm like, man, I ain't trying to be that age still coming back and forth to jail for parole violations and all that. So I was like, I got to do something different. My dad wasn't around when I was growing up neither. So I was like, I got to do something different for my son. So I got out, said I'm going to do this job thing. One of my homies got me a job changing oil and tires on these big 18-wheelers. Did that for like 2 weeks. I was covering the oil every day. I can't do this, bro. So I went back into the streets. And then one other thing, I got a check. And I took my son to the fair. You already know the story. Took him to the fair, and we had to like budget what we can do. And I'm like, I ain't really cool with this. And that point, you already decide you don't want to do something. You kind of start justifying it. So I was like, man, and they make $300 for every hour that I work, and I only get paid $8. That's pimping. So I just kind of justified my way out the whole situation. Just quit the job. Started an entertainment company with the money I was getting in the streets. And then that led me into the club. So we used to be in the club every night. That's kind of, you get money, you go to the club. That's kind of the thing. So we was in the club every night. And then one of my homies, his cousin, started managing this other club, the strip club in Atlanta. And they needed some hosts, some club promoters. And they saw us in the club so much, they figured we knew something about it. But I ain't really know nothing about club promotion. But he gave me the opportunity. So I'm like, all right, bet. So I jumped on the opportunity. We started doing that. And then that led me into like the entertainment world. And then that led me into getting introduced to network marketing. Got into network marketing. Network marketing tell you, hey, all you gotta do is get two, and they'll get two, and they'll get two, and they'll do it. So I did that. And I ain't really want to turn down an opportunity. So I jumped on that. It didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. I almost quit, and we just went back into the streets. But I was actually still in the streets then at the beginning phase. I was like halfway in, halfway out type of thing. So one of the guys who recruited me invited me to a conference, a network marketing conference that they were doing in Atlanta. So I went to it and I was like, man, it's like 2,000-3,000 black people here. Talking about they get money, they got suits on, they talking positive, they excited about helping other people win. This was like something I never heard before where I'm from. So I came out of that thing, started getting some results, but it kind of plateaued out because everybody who I knew, who I thought was going to jump on the opportunity with me, they was like, nah, bro, we good. They weren't interested. So I was like, all right, cool. Fast forward, that led me into online marketing. Online marketing, I was obsessed with learning how to attract people coming to you versus you having to reach out to people. And at that time, it was just like white cats teaching it, like older white guys. But I was like, man, if I learn this and I can start teaching this, it'll be a game changer.
This is before Instagram and Facebook.
So Facebook was around.
Okay.
Instagram wasn't around though.
And Twitter was around.
Twitter was around. I wasn't on it like that though. Yeah. My partner, who I did club promotions with, my guy Rick, the host, he was on it because he came from the college world. So even when we did club promo, he had us on Facebook. But like my life I was in, you know, like these cats these days, they put it all on social media. But like, I'm like, I ain't posting like my day on social media because that's like incriminating myself. So I'm like, I'm good. We can post the club flyers on there, but like, I don't want to be in like no pictures on social media or what we doing and none of that type of stuff, right? It's a different world now. But Facebook was around, so we was on it. So when I started learning this stuff and they started teaching the Facebook, how I need to use my social media, I jumped into it and was full throttle. But I ain't really make no money. I was buying all these courses, buying all these trainings, really blew through all my savings because I had transitioned out of the streets to go full throttle into this legit business stuff, right? And then it probably took me a few years to like really get my footing, right? Even my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, she actually was paying all the bills and all this while I'm trying to figure this internet stuff out.
So she wasn't tripping?
She wasn't really like notice, you know, you kind of get some, you know how you get some little remarks or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like, she was like coming through, giving me a little allowance off her, cause she was doing, she was a bartender.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So she was like, give me a little, cause you know, they make money every night. Yeah. So it was like, she give me some money. I'm using that to buy some trainings, go to some events. I'm like, I'm gonna figure this out. Just like I figured out anything else. I'm gonna just figure this out. It's just a matter of time.
So she believed in you?
Yeah. She believed in me.
Okay.
Yep. So she was putting the check up. I'm figuring this thing out. You know, I went all in with it. And then people start asking me what I was doing, right? It's not me asking me what I was doing. They wanted to teach me. And then I found out that it was this industry called coaching, where people pay you to like coach them. And I was like, that's crazy. And this thing called information marketing, where you can package your information up and then you can sell it to people and they'll pay you. And people's making millions off this. I'm like, it's crazy. So I dove into that, started coaching people. And I started a membership site. I was just kind of doing everything that I saw cats online doing, right? But the thing that worked really well for us was the coaching, because people started getting results. And then people want to know, how are we getting clients to grow our coaching business? So we started teaching that. So I went from teaching network marketers how to grow their business to teaching people how to start an online business, to teaching people how to get clients for a coaching business. And then we just narrowed down specifically into the get clients world. And of course, now it turned into Client Attraction University, and we hope that client's over $500 million in revenue. And that's on the low end, but that's kind of that whole journey.
Okay. Can you talk about some of your clients, like some of your big name clients?
Yeah. So we got clients from all different walks, right? So I got a client so we always say like our process is so simple, a 12-year-old can do it. So our youngest client, he's 12. Well, he was 12. He's 15 now. He's a millionaire. When he first started working with us, he was 12. We helped him implement the process. His goal was to make $100,000 before his 13th birthday. By the time he turned 13, he had made $106,000 or something like that. Now he does that plus a month. All right. So that's one client. We got another client, Tammy and Sheldon. They're actually in the trucking world. So they help people start trucking businesses without a CDL, box trucking businesses. 2019, they made $4,000, $5,000 for the entire year. 2020, they made $400,000. 2021, they made $1.8 million. Who else? Of course, you know, David, I kind of like gave him some of the sauce. He did $35,000 in 3 days, just kind of testing it out. And you already know what David up to now. Tara, she helps people start app. She helps people build website or build apps without code. She did like 80 grand her first week, and then she kind of took it and ran with it. So yeah, so those are just a few right off the top of my head.
Can you explain perceived value?
So yeah, so perceived value is technically how valuable somebody else sees something. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So for example, all right, this is a bottle of water. It really got no label on it. It's like, all right, cool. What's the most you gonna sell this for? Well, it depends, right? How accessible is water? So for example, if I'm standing on the corner and I'm like, because I know in Atlanta, it's like most corners you pull up on, you got the young cats out there selling bottles of water. Mm-hmm. More than likely they sell them for like $1. Because they like, I'm going to get it for you for $1, young buck. Or I'm going to go up into the corner and I can go in there and walk in, but I'm just giving you $1 right now. Now, if you ask most people what's the most they're going to spend for a bottle of water, they probably going to say what, $1, $2, something like that. But in reality, it depends. Because if you go to the Houston Rockets game and you buy a bottle of water, if it's anything like Atlanta, you're going to spend at least $5. Mm-hmm. Right? If you're in the strip club or you're in the club in Atlanta, you're going to spend $5 for a bottle of water. The name may change, right? They may say, okay, this is Fiji water or this is Iceland water from this particular environment. Mm-hmm. But that's just our perceived value. We're just going specifically off the label. If it's this water's Fiji, is built, is pulled from the springs in Fiji in the mountains, and this is what it is. That's why this gas station can sell it for $4 a bottle. But it's really perceived value just based on that marketing, because we don't really know if they actually got the water from Fiji or if they got it from the same place this company got it from. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Yep.
Can you explain competitive advantage?
So competitive advantage is basically like you taking what makes you better, right? What makes you better, and not even just makes you better, because better is like relative. Mm-hmm. But what makes you superior? What makes what you offer superior? So, for example, some ways it may be you may compete based on price. Pricing can be a competitive advantage. So, for example, most people try to like lower. Most people just sort of say, all right, well, they're charging this, so I'm gonna undercharge them. I'm gonna undercharge them. That's not. It can be a competitive advantage depending, right? But it's more of a competitive advantage if you go more in the premium market. If you say, okay, we charge a premium price, that's our competitive advantage. Or competitive advantage may be like speed, right? So for example, in Domino's Pizza, when they blew up, they was like, we're gonna get you hot, fresh pizza in 30 minutes or less delivered to your door. Mm-hmm. That was their competitive advantage. Speed. It wasn't quality. But you may have another company, they may say, our pizza is higher quality. Yeah, if you want it fast, go to them. But if you want quality, pull up here. You see what I'm saying? So that could be the competitive advantage. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, you talked about like you studied all the great drug dealers and stuff, like Rayful Austin,
Rayful Edmonds, and them.
Yeah, Rayful Edmonds. You want to talk about them a little bit? Like who would you like aspire to be when you was like in the streets?
So when I was in the streets, this was before Meech came to Atlanta, right?
Oh, Big Meech, for real?
This is before BMF and all them, right?
Okay.
So I ain't saying I was in the streets before them, because they're obviously, I think they're all older than me.
Yeah.
But it's like they weren't in Atlanta like that when I was younger. As I got older in the streets, that's when they were coming down to Atlanta, moving things around or whatever, right? So obviously anybody who was moving around that area was like, okay, the BMF movement, Meech and them, that was like the pinnacle, right?
Okay.
Prior to all that, I was into like obviously Paid in Full. You ever seen the movie Paid in Full?
Yeah.
From Rich Porter and all that?
Yeah.
Like how they was moving. I was watching cats like to Pablo Escobar's, like them dudes who was like getting real paper. It's like we look at like our local dope boys, but it's like Pablo Escobar, them dudes like doing $1 million an hour. Like them boys getting real paper. You know what I'm saying?
You was trying to get to Pablo Escobar.
I was trying to go as big as I can go. You know what I'm saying? It's like just like anything. Whatever I do, I'm gonna go big as I'm.
Did you have a plan, like how you was gonna scale it to that level? Or
no, I ain't really had no plan.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, bro, I ain't had no plan. Our company, the way it is now, I ain't really have it. Early on, I ain't have a plan to scale it to where it is now, because you don't necessarily got to have a plan initially you got to just have a vision.
The drive.
Yeah, and the drive. Once you got the vision and you got the drive, you will stumble across the plan.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Have you mentored anybody where you didn't think they was gonna get that high?
Nah.
Like, so everybody you like already saw that they was gonna get that high in the business.
Yeah, for sure. And not only that, a lot of the clients we work with, they're millionaires now, but I saw that before they did. And where they are now, I always tell them, like, they be excited, like, hey, man, we did this. And I'm like, man, we just getting started. I always tell them, like, we just getting started. Because, like, one of the great things that I'm really good at is, like, I can see in people oftentimes what they don't see in themselves.
What's the biggest problem you see in your clients? Like, is it their mind frame or, like, their confidence? Like, what's the biggest thing that you feel like with everybody that they need to change?
I think the biggest thing with most people is, like, a lot of times people just overthink stuff. They overcomplicate everything. Like, it has to be complicated. And it really ain't that complicated. And it's, in the online world, it's like a big responsibility. It's like people just make this stuff way too complicated. It's like it ain't really that complicated to make money. You know what I'm saying? It's like you find a problem, you create a solution for that problem, and then you figure out a way to get in front of people who got this problem.
Okay.
That ain't really super complicated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, most of these people, they on Facebook. Cool. How do you get in Facebook? Well, you can create content, get in front of them. It's going to be a slower run, but it's cool. Keep doing that. But how do you get into them faster? Spend some money on ads. You know what I'm saying? How do you show people? I tell people all the time, like, how do you show people you can help them? People are like, I don't know. Well, you show people you can help them is by actually helping them. So then you help them, and then you invite them to help them more. And they pay you to get more help. Like, they ain't really that complicated.
What made you decide to get your doctorate?
Bro, so I'm going to tell you something funny, bro. So a few years ago, because like I won't say a lot of flack, but when I speak at events, a lot of times I can go to an event and I'm like dressed like this, hoodie, jeans, Air Force Ones, J's, whatever. And it's like, but everybody else suited and booted. Yeah. 3-piece, Gators, whatever, Pradas or whatever, the whole nine. But I pull up Air Force Ones, tats, goals, hats. Who's this dude? Ain't even sound like you know what he's talking about. But I was telling one of my homies one day, my business partner Dre, we'll sit around laughing. I'm like, bro, it'll really mess him up if I get introduced to the stage as Dr. Marquell Russell. We was just laughing about it. I'm gonna figure out a way to get me one of these doctorates. And I had a few conversations with people who said they can get me a doctorate, but they had never really pulled through. And when I went to the all-white party that we was talking about on the way here, my guy Dr. Uyi, shout out to Dr. Uyi, right? Me and him had a conversation, and like I said, he was asking me like, "Hey, bro, why you don't typically dress like the typical online, or why you don't do this?" I'm like, "Bro, they really just ain't my speed." You know what I'm saying? So that week, he reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, bro, I'm the founder of High Place Christian University. We want to honor you with a doctorate."
Oh,
like,
for real?
Yeah. I'm like, "What you mean you want to honor me with a doctorate?" And he was like, "I love the work that you're doing in the marketplace and in the kingdom of God. We want to honor you and give you a doctorate." I'm like, what? So yeah, so I ain't gotta go to some people like ask me like, "Bro, I ain't know you was in school and how you worked it into your schedule." Like, I didn't do a class, bro. It's like they honored me honorary doctorate for the work that we're doing, in the kingdom of God and in the marketplace. Cool. So that's kind of how that whole thing came about.
I know we talked about this a little bit. So if any of your kids decided to like not be an entrepreneur, you'll be cool with it?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I know entrepreneurship ain't for everybody. Yeah, so I ain't tripping. I want my kids to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do, right? That they enjoy, that they love doing, and then be able to have access to the resources and the opportunities so they don't really got to make decisions based on money.
Okay. How did your wife help you through your journey?
So I would say the biggest thing is like, number one, gave me like balance, right? Because I used to be like out wilding, but it's like when you got something to go home to, that's why you laughing. It's like you got that balance, and I think that balance was huge for me. Otherwise, I was just out like wilding. I don't really got nowhere to be. So I could move differently because I had that. I couldn't move reckless like I had been moving prior to. So that's number one. And number two, like you said earlier, just believing in me. Like I even asked her to this day, like, hey, why were you? Because she met me when I was up. When she met me, I was in the streets moving at a really high level. And then she saw me go through the whole transition from not getting no money, getting evicted from my apartment, getting my car repossessed, all that, through and just going through this whole downward spiral for a couple of years. And I'd be like, why did you even still rock with me? And she was just like, she knew I'd figure it out eventually.
Okay. Can you explain buyer's defense mechanism?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, buyer's defense mechanism is like anytime. So like people, we love to buy, but we like hate being sold to. So I'm gonna give you an example. So we got this spot. It's a historic shoe store in Atlanta called Walters. And I literally stopped going to Walters back in the day because anytime you go to Walters to get shoes, you'll get hassled. Like, it's like when you walk in, cats like over your shoulder, hey, what size you need, bro? And you be like, all right, I'm gonna let you know, cause when you walk to the shoe store, the typical question you're gonna get is what? How can we help you? What size you
need some help.
Anything you're looking for? And you be like, well, give me a second. And unless you know what you're looking for, you're typically gonna be like, well, give me a second, let me look, and I'll let you know. And they're like, all right, bet. But it's like Walters, it's like they own you, they hounding you. Everybody want that commission. So I stopped going. But it's like, I'm there to buy, but I don't need you to sell me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people automatically got this defense mechanism up when it goes into a sales situation. So your goal as the marketer, as the salesperson, is to eliminate that by whether it could be asking questions, it could be just like breaking the ice and not just going, and people they're used to sales being done a certain type of way. So if you don't go that route, then that kind of eliminates that defense mechanism that they typically put up. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Can you explain the rapid growth blueprint?
Yeah, so for sure. So basically, the rapid business growth blueprint is basically it's this thing called the SFM method, right? So the biggest thing we always tell people, like, the S is for specialized. So picking that thing that you're going to specialize in as a business owner. Most business owners, they be all over the place. They trying to do real estate. They trying to do NFTs. They trying to do stocks. They're fitness trainers. Cats be doing all different type of things because they got these other cats who done told them, like, you got to have multiple streams of income. And there's a place for multiple streams of income, but you got to get one thing popping first. You know what I'm saying? Growing one business is hard enough. Like, you tell me you're going to grow 3, 4, 5 businesses while having kids, while having a spouse, while working a job. Like, you got to pick one thing. So first and foremost, specialize. Secondly, you want to funnelize. So you want to be able to take complete strangers and then take them through an automated process to go from stranger into client, right? With the whole funnelization process. So that's the F. And then the M, that's where the cash register rings. That's where you monetize. You know what I'm saying? That's when people give you money. And we always recommend having a premium price offer where people paying you $3,000, $10,000 or more for what you offer.
Okay. Can you explain the publishing for profit mastery?
Yeah. So the publishing for profit mastery is basic. So publishing for profit mastery, that was like one of the first courses that I created early on, right? So when I was about to get evicted from my apartment, prior to that, I paid somebody to teach me how to write a book. And what I did was I took all the notes that I had accumulated over all the years from like the Les Browns and the Miles Monroes and the Eric Thomas and all this type of stuff, and I put it into a book. I paid this one cat $200 and he coached me on how to put together a book, right? And I put it out. It's called Breaking the Cycle, because I was like, man, how can I take everything that I'm learning, put it into something and get it out to more people so they can learn this stuff early on? And God gave me the vision to do this book, right? So I did that. Fast forward, people start asking me, hey, bro, I heard you got a book. Like, how did you do it? And I was like, So I did this webinar, and I was like, hey, for the next 6 weeks, I'm going to teach y'all how to write your book. So that I could have actually went that route and been like the king of book publishing. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't end up going that route. I don't know why, but I ain't go that route. But I did that, and that's how I had my first 5-figure month. I did that webinar. I think I charged $197, I think, for 6 weeks. And we made $13,430.83 that month. And I was like, okay, it's on.
Okay. What's next for you? What you got like in the pipeline? Like Next couple of months, next year? What you working on?
To be honest with you, bro, we just growing, man. I'm just like all in. We growing the company, growing the team, helping our clients get crazy results. We did our team training day the other day. So we just did our client only event last weekend, 2 weekends ago.
You got an event coming up. You're gonna speak in Atlanta, right? It's with like I forgot. It's with a couple more people from Atlanta.
Yep, talking about the event Jeremy doing.
Yeah.
So I speak at that. I think May 1st or something like that. We just did our client only event 2 weeks ago, and then we had about 100 people there.
Mm-hmm.
But where we going with it? So Phillips Arena holds 21,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the Hawks play, and then Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's where the Falcons play. It holds 71,000. Mm-hmm. So that's where we going with this in terms of vision wise. In terms of our client only events being. We fill up the Phillips Arena. We fill up to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So that's where we're going with this whole thing.
If somebody wanted to book you for like to speak at the event, how much they looking at?
It depends, man. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the situation, really. So it depends.
It depends who they are too?
It depends on who they are.
Okay.
It depends on what they got going on. Depends on who gonna be in the room. What it looks like.
Who figures that out? Your team or you do?
Me and the team.
Okay.
Yeah, it just depends.
It depends. Like if they podcast pop. What about a podcast?
To get on their podcast?
Yeah.
Again, it depends, right? It's crazy, man. With the podcast thing, it's like I get so many podcast requests. It's getting to the point where it's like, because we had some initial parameters, but now it's like, hey, we got to put some more parameters in place because we get so many of them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a lot of times we get cats who reach out and they're like, hey, man, you know, and this ain't no disrespect for nobody because I get it. Like everybody starts somewhere. I was that dude, right? So it's like, hey, you know, I'm starting my podcast. You know, I want to see if you be one of my first guests. And I'm like, no disrespect. I don't want to be the first guest. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You said that?
Nah, I mean, my team handles it now, but it's like,
okay.
That's no disrespect. I just don't want to be the first guest.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you somebody who got, now again, that's why I said it depends. You may be somebody who popping.
You're like Wall Street Trapper. Yeah.
You feel me?
He about to start.
He about to start.
Yeah.
So Wall Street hit me up and like, hey, bro, I want to get you on the cat. So that's different because it ain't like he ain't just building this up.
Yeah, he got a big platform already.
Right.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
So it was his podcast, his first episode gonna go crazy.
His first episode gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
So that would be different. That would be worth the time investment. And again, no disrespect, because I get everybody starts somewhere, but it's like it ain't enough time in the day to say yes to everybody podcast.
Okay. If somebody wanted to hire you directly to be their marketer, how much would that cost? So that depends.
For me to
to be their personal marketer.
They can't pay me enough.
Can't pay you enough?
Nah.
Okay.
It'll be unless it's like $1 million a year or something.
Would you ever wear a suit?
Would I ever wear a suit? I mean, yes. So would I ever wear a suit? It depends, bro. It depends on the situation. So,
like, what about to your daughter's wedding? Would you wear a suit?
To my daughter's wedding, would I wear a suit? Probably, because I'd probably like be in the wedding, hopefully, right? You know, bringing her down. Yeah. So if that's her setup, but you never know, like that may not be her setup. Because I think just because think about it, somebody can do a wedding, but everybody don't got to be in suits.
That's true. No, you're right.
Traditionally,
you're gonna be giving away though. You're gonna be
but it's think about it like this, because it's like if my daughter was like, all right, we're doing a wedding, but we just gonna be in just polo, or we gonna be in whatever
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
They dress down. Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like some people gonna be tripped like, hey, like, oh man, they in Hawaiian attire, but it's like you don't gotta be in the suit. Just traditionalism, it just tells you that you gotta be in the suit.
So like somebody want to book you on the event, how much would they need to pay you to wear a suit?
It depends, bro. It depends. I don't know. It depends.
What about like 300?
300,000?
Yeah.
It depends. So it depends, because my question would be, what is you with the suit?
Okay.
Like what's up? Like what's up with this? Like is something you trying to prove or something? You know what I'm saying? Like what's the deal? Like, do you want me to come and speak and serve, or do you want me in the suit? Like,
okay.
I don't understand.
No, I understand.
You know what I'm saying? And that was a point in my life, in my career, when I rocked suits. Because I felt like I had to, because like the network marketing world I came from is like.
I haven't seen pictures in the suits.
Yeah, you never seen it? You got to go see some of my pictures, bro. It's like I had like the So in Atlanta, we got D&K. Y'all got D&K here?
Yeah.
Where you can get 2 for $99?
Yeah.
So I used to go get the 2 for $99. Those were my first two suits.
Okay.
2 for $99, shirt with the cufflinks, like I was going to church. And it's like, I used to be like, oh man, it didn't feel good, but I used to do it. And then I went down to start doing like a blazer and then like some slacks with like some loafers, which was cool, but it was like, I couldn't wait to get home to take my shoes off. You know what I'm saying? But then I was like, when I started just showing up as me in regular trap attire,
more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm like, this is how I used to dress when I was like moving around. But it's like, I'm just more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I'm authentically me. And when I started doing that, that's really when the business took off, when I just started like showing up who I was.
Oh, that's a bar. Like, so when you was authentically you, that's when you started making real money.
That's when the business took off, when I just started showing up as me.
Okay, that's dope.
And talking like how I talk, rocking how I rock, sharing like the stories. I was like fascinated. People like hearing like the old trap stories. And I was like, man, people like this type of stuff. And most of my clients, one would say most of them, but a lot of my clients are like doctors and attorneys and MBAs and never been in no trouble and all this different type of stuff. And it's like they actually rock with that stuff, and it tripped me out.
So nobody's intimidated by you?
I mean, I don't know.
You don't know?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna run through this list real quick. It's like an either or.
Okay.
And then we'll be done. Rayful Edmonds or Fat Cat?
Rayful Edmonds or Fat Cat? You said so got to be either or? Probably. Probably Rayful. And the reason why is my whole story, I actually end up one of my guys, I won't even say his name because I don't know if he publicly talk about it, is Rayful's brother.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, somebody I had on the show, I'm not gonna say their name, that's their cousin.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Alpo or Rich Porter?
Rich Porter for sure.
Rich Porter.
Alpo snitching.
I know, he's got Birdman or Master P?
Master P.
Master P or Jay Prince?
Man, that's a tough one, bro. Jay Prince.
Jay Prince?
Yeah.
Myron Golden or David Shands?
David Shands. Myron my guy too though, but David Shands, that's my personal people.
Jim Rome or Les Brown?
Jim Ron or Les Brown? That's a good question, bro. Jim Ron. Jim Ron changed the game for me, bro.
Justin Owens or Zoe the Goat?
You said who?
Justin Owens or Zoe the Goat?
Justin Owens or Zoe the Goat?
Yeah.
That's a tough one, bro. Okay. So to pick, so I'm pick back up on that one?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh. It broke.
That's that heavy duty boy.
All right. Yeah, Justin Owens or Zoe the Goat?
That's a tough one, bro. Justin Owens or Zoe the Goat? I don't know. I like both of them, bro.
Like both of them?
Yeah, I like both of them.
Ash Cash or David Shands?
Both, bro.
Eric Thomas or Jerry Clark?
Eric Thomas or Jerry Clark? Jerry Clark. That's my personal people. Jerry stayed out this way.
For real?
Yeah, he in Texas. That's my personal.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jay-Z or 8Ball MJG?
Jay-Z or 8Ball MJG? You mean musically or what?
It don't matter. Whatever you.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Okay.
Like if we had to just compare, it's like
UGK or Jay-Z?
I had to go with Jay-Z, bro. If we talking about just a holistic perspective, you know, if we talking musically, I gotta go with UGK. But if we talking about just holistically, I gotta go with Jay-Z. I grew up on UGK.
I know. Nipsey Hussle or Jay-Z?
That's a tough one, bro. I'm gonna go. I gotta go with both, bro.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay. Julian Gordon or David Shands?
I gotta go with both. Both of them my personal people, man.
Neo or Donnie Wiggins?
Neo or Donnie Wiggins? Man, it depends, bro. It's like Neo or Donnie Wiggins. I'm gonna go with Donnie.
You going
I gotta go with Donnie. Donnie, I'm gonna go with Donnie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rental,
Because it depends. It's one of those it depends things, man. But I'm gonna go with Donnie's because I'm gonna go with my first answer.
a rental property or Airbnb?
A rental property or Airbnb?
Yeah.
A rental property or Airbnb?
Like a regular tenant or Airbnb.
And I'm gonna still make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Probably a rental property because I
Rental
don't gotta
property.
like deal with like making sure it get filled every week. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Earn your leisure, sleep is for suckers.
Sleepers for suckers. That's my family.
Money or equity?
Both.
2 million followers or a rental property?
2 million followers or a rental property?
Yeah.
2 million followers. So give me some context. So like 2 million followers that are branded to me or just a page
Like
where I just bought?
on Instagram.
You mean like a page that I just bought that got 2 million followers?
Nah, they
Or my
follow.
page.
Your page got 2
People who
million
know me.
followers. Yeah.
Or a rental property?
A rental property.
2 million followers. Because I know how to monetize it.
Okay. 850 credit score or $1 million?
Cash?
Yeah.
So you're saying right now I can have an 850 score or $1 million in cash?
Yeah.
Like cash me out?
Cash. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Turo or Airbnb?
Turo or Airbnb? Probably Airbnb. I don't really know a whole lot about Turo. I'd probably say Airbnb.
All right. I appreciate it, man.
For sure, bro. I appreciate you, man. For sure.